Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Farrel from cohort 2025. As of right now, I would like to discuss something that maybe a lot of people have actually known about it, or maybe they have experienced about it before. However, maybe they're hardly admit that they've been in this situation before. And in this case, we're going to talk about being a loner. However, disclaimer, I would like to say that there's nothing wrong in trying to actually spend your time alone. Maybe you're just trying to actually find a quiet place, you're just tired and you're trying to actually avoid the drama, the trouble, the people that actually bother you, and then maybe you're just trying to reflect upon yourself. However, there should be a clear line drawn between the fact that you're just trying to spend your time alone and recharging your social battery, for example, compared to the fact that you're trying to isolate yourself from other people. Isolating yourself from other people is really is completely a different thing compared to the one that I previously said before. Isolating yourself from other people meaning that you're trying to find any possible way to avoid contact to other people. Like you're going to actually avoid people, you don't want to interact with other people, you don't want to be in a conversation with other people. This trait will later on develop a really big consequences. Like for example, if I were to list down, well, the most common and maybe the noticeable would probably the fact that you're going to have a low social skills. Like you don't know how to actually talk to other people, you don't know how to start a conversation, you don't know how to actually give out your opinion. And then the next one would probably be a lack in connection. You will probably have maybe a low amount of friends, for example, unfortunately. However, I do best believe that every one of you guys, even though you're alone, you should have probably uh, maybe interact with one or two people, and then maybe they become your friends. Like only two people, it's probably good enough. However, if you want to better yourself, I will like right now I will just tell you guys how to actually deal with this sort of trouble. Like for example, if you finally if you have a consequences like the fact that you're being a loner and then you develop this sort of trait, like you're lacking in social skills, you're lacking in connection. I'll just actually maybe give you guys a good lesson on how to deal with this sort of trouble. So in order to actually better yourself, and maybe the fact that you want to actually be able to interact with other people, is you guys need to start from low. You don't need to, for example, compare yourself to like those famous public speakers, because like maybe you think that, oh, they're born this way, they're able to talk to other people, to many people. Please don't compare yourself to these people, because like they are also able to develop this sort of skills through learning, through actually repeating, and maybe they learn from their failure. Because believe me or not, hard work will also pay off your effort. So let's keep it short. So maybe basically I'll teach you guys how to actually develop a way to have a decent social skills, and then maybe you guys will later on have a decent amount of connection. Like for example, the best way would probably be greeting. Greeting other people will later on be a really helpful way to actually for you to develop this decent amount of social skills. Because like for example, maybe you used to there used to be a passerby and then you're probably going to ignore them. However, please try to actually greet them. Like maybe just saying hello or wave at them. That would be pretty enough. Because in fortunate case, you're going to find yourself in a you're going to find yourself in a maybe a in a actually a good conversation, in a deep conversation with them. Like just by greeting them, they will probably engage you in a conversation. This way you're going to find a way to actually develop your social skills, because you're responding to them, and then you're going to have a good amount of connection because yay, they actually know that you exist, and then because you greet them. Now this is just the easiest way that I could actually teach you how to maybe develop your social skills and avoid to become a loner, so that maybe later on it will not affect you in your future, your career, because social interaction is actually pretty important, because us humans are social creatures. We need other people to actually, we need to interact with other people because we have purposes that can only be done together. So to conclude this discussion, I'd like to say that you guys should be able to please try your best to actually interact with other people, so that you may be able to develop a decent amount of social skills, because later on in the future you guys going to need this. Unfortunately, yeah, you guys going to actually need this, so that you're going to be able to maybe give out an opinion to maybe your future boss. Like for example, if they're going to ask you like how are we going to proceed with the project, you guys should be able to actually respond to them. Yeah, and that is why it is actually a trouble if you're a loner. However, please try your best to actually study and then maybe learn and practice. That is it. Thank you.